I was going to do it another way. Everybody who forgot Valentine's Day, put your penis on the desk.
Say Winston Churchill in a German accent. He sounds like a German.
Borderline.
Vinston Churchill.
Borderline.
Say Elizabeth Windsor in a German accent. She said, "Oh, hang on."
Ciabatta.
Ciabatta.
I also was ciabatta.
You would do. You're from Hampshire.
Well, yeah. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Pro Detailer Magazine podcast. I am joined here by Mr. Ian Seeley.
Hello.
And Mr. James Keeley.
Hello.
And, well, I think we're on an overall optimistic footing.
Speak for yourself.
I was going to say, I don't know what gave you that impression.
Well, bigger picture stuff.
Is it because Ian's got gas?
No. I mean, what's changed?
That was a can of Coke.
Oh, right.
Yes. But in terms of, I mean, we're now midway through Feb. People are now talking about opening up rather than closing down, which is nice. We've got lots of vaccinations happening. Both my aged parents have received a vaccination. I think most others have. I don't know.
I think both of you.
Yeah, my folks had the jab.
My mother, she's had hers. My dad, not yet.
But your dad's still a young man, isn't he? Really?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Spring chicken.
Indeed. Still got lots left to grow.
He's got plenty of room to grow.
So, yeah, I think, generally speaking, those who were going to shut down have shut down. Those who decided to carry on have carried on. And now we're kind of getting to that thing. I think a lot of the grants have gone out now. People have received, if they're going to receive it, they've got a fair few things. I don't know if the self-employed grant's gone out. I don't think.
No, that doesn't go out until late March, April something, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's tax year, isn't it? I think they're going to try and do it.
But a lot of companies that have been dormant as well, those who decide to close down and do something else part-time, they're probably going to start looking at opening up for the spring soon as well.
Yeah, sun started coming out, hasn't it? Breaking through the snow.
Just about.
Yeah. Although the wind chill at the moment has been ridiculous. It was
It's all right today, though. The BMW started up, which means it's plus 8 degrees. That's how I gauge temperature now.
Did it start first time without assistance? No.
Well, my first attempt got it running.
Quick update, Ian's at the mixing desk for the second time, so expect lots of sound effects to be coming.
Yep.
Today, we've actually planned ahead and thought what we're going to be talking about, because we've got some interesting topics.
I doubt it'll happen in order, though.
No, I very much doubt that.
All within time limit.
All within time limit, yeah.
Well, in due course, obviously, we'll talk about car news and stuff like that, but I think it'd be quite good to actually tackle some specific topics. And the two that we really want to hit today is OEM training, so training by manufacturers for both enthusiast and professional users.
Or on behalf of.
On behalf of
Manufacturers.
Then we're going to have a little bit of car news and then a break. And then we're going to talk about groups and online groups to do with detailing, be they public OEM or professional groups. And then we were going to tail end it with some requests for issue 13 of the magazine, due to be in July.
Can I have Footloose by Kenny Loggins, please, Dave?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
I was going to say, is this like Sunday love songs?
Late Night Love with, what's his name, Graham Torrington. Do you remember that? 210 FM.
God, was that in the 40s?
No, that was in the 90s. 210 FM, which is based in Reading.
Request your favourite vacuum pack disc.
Yeah, it's now part of Heart, I think.
I should go and change the barrel.
So, opening it up with OEM training and a little bit of history, really. OEM training from a detailing point of view has not been around forever and ever. It's certainly not been around as long as detailing's been around, or detailing suppliers. I have vague memories in the kind of 90s of Autoglim and the like offering training courses.
Yeah, I think so when I first started out, which must have been very late 90s, early 2000s, you could go and do the Life Shine authorization or approval course back then. And that's because it's pretty much the only one going, that and SuperGuard.
And it's interesting as to what they're there to achieve, because now manufacturer training is part and parcel of everyday professional detailing, and there are plenty of enthusiast courses out there. But really, what I suppose what I'm asking is, what brought them to the fore? Why have they grown in popularity? And originally I thought, well, it must be with ceramic coatings, because it's harder to get. We had this discussion earlier with James. It was harder to get right with ceramic coatings, as in you can cock it up. You can cock up a wax, but it's not nearly as bad news as if you cock up a coating.
Yeah, it's the costs as well, isn't it? The costs of products of wastage.
Yeah.
If you most common ones drop a clay bar. Unless you've used the whole bar at once, it's going to cost you a few quid.
Yeah.
If you misapply a ceramic coating on a vehicle, you're looking at, some of these coatings are upwards of 100 quid. You're not going to use that complete bottle on a car. But it's...
Not forgetting the amount of time you have to spend getting the
12 hours prep.
off.
12 hours prep that you've done already, the 2 hours application. Some of it, in certain cases, you don't know it's wrong, or you don't know you've got a problem until after it's cured. So you could be looking at 3 days' work that you've lost, and then you've got to go back. And polishing a coated car to get it ready for coating is 3 times the amount of work that polishing an uncoated car is.
Yeah, so there are greater risk of greater cost. What's interesting, though, is that, polishing compounds have been around for yonks, and yet you don't see, I certainly don't remember, partly because, obviously, I'm very young, any courses being offered by compound manufacturers to detailers, maybe to the body shop trade, I guess.
I think Scholl used to do some bits and bobs, didn't they?
I still do.
Yeah.
Over in the continent, they have the Scholl Academy, which looks very cool inside.
Yeah, and I know Sonex is more of a generic training, though.
Yes.
But you don't see people like Menzerner or Koch doing UK polishing events.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
I think the Sonex one is also for internal. So obviously, with such a big international company, you're training people to then go out and then deliver training of some description.
Yeah.
So it's interesting how it does seem to have kind of, at least just by coincidence, come in with ceramics as opposed to come in with products that you can. I mean, obviously, a heavy cut compound, you can do a lot of damage if you don't know what you're doing.
Do you think that's just a UK thing, though? Or do you think that there's been better training abroad?
I wouldn't be surprised if the Germans, the Italians have been doing it better for years.
The Dutch as well. We know that Cartec got a big presence. We know that we've got... what's that other big brand in Holland that we bumped into?
Kenetec?
Kenetec.
Yes.
Yeah. Belgium, aren't they?
What's the parent company?
Oh, it's a massive one that had nothing to do with detailing or indeed even body shop. They make sort of like fertilizer and stuff. And
car wash products.
And car wash products, bulk chemical supplies.
Maybe because the problem is the Europeans have a very, very different approach to training than we do. They see it as a true asset to their career.
Yes.
Whereas over here, it's just like what certificate can I get and what do I get for free?
Yeah.
Whereas in Germany or Holland or
they pay so much more for it out there.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. We're looking at
night and day.
Yeah, some courses over here, are offered at £300-400 a day, and you still get them owners. Whereas I know in Germany they're offering at 4 figures per day in some cases.
Yeah, and they're fully booked.
Yeah,
because the Germans see it as a real asset. Yeah. But again, I think just going slightly off topic, I think the other problem we have in the UK is that any detailer that assumes a certain level automatically starts doing training because they see it as a quick quid.
Well, yeah,
and it's watering down the good training, should we say, where there are people that are offering good structured training. But because there are 40 different courses for enthusiast detailing days or a master detailing day, whatever you want to call it, for 150 quid, the guys that are offering the genuine career development training for 4 figures, which is what realistically it should be, is kind of starting to or it has been diluted over the last few years, hasn't it?
Yeah, I'd absolutely agree.
Sorry, I've got my mic off because I'm working my way through a pile of fruitellas.
You haven't even offered me one.
Damn right.
You've offered me one.
But the other thing is from a manufacturer point of view, from our sort of, I don't know how I want to describe our point of view, but from our point of view, it might be about making sure that you have highly skilled professionals with the necessary knowledge and understanding to build their experience. But a manufacturer ultimately is trying to sell product.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is what we said at the end of the. Sorry, I've got fruitella,
chocolate voice.
Fruitella throat now.
I'll have another whisper, please.
No, this is what we said in 12 at the end of when we revisited Autosmart coatings. We're saying, brilliant product. It's got a great load of potential, but as long as they don't start giving away with 25-litre drums of G101 or something like that, which I think they are.
It would be great if they do, in my opinion. But
or if they start doing 25-litre drums of Matrix, just crack it open. Be fine for a week.
It comes in a diver's flask, pre-pressurized.
But no, if they at the end of the day, these companies do exist to shift product.
Yeah.
And trying to get it through the mentality of especially older companies that are relying on bulk sales out the back of vans, for example, anything like that, that you can actually build a far more successful brand by narrowing down the market for a particular product, making it exclusive, making it something that people will travel for.
Yeah, there is a fine line, though, isn't there, between making something so exclusive,
it can be too exclusive,
so exclusive that no one's ever heard of it, and just like a mass market product. Well, I think the thing I see with OEM training is it is very, very brand. It's very relative to the brand as to what type of training they should be going for.
Well, that's just it. I mean, you do get a lot of professionals touting that they've done the, training with a given manufacturer.
Yeah.
And that's great. It means, I mean, I've been to so many of these training days by manufacturers, and they vary from, there's almost always good useful advice at each day. But at the same time,
they're more like seminars, though, aren't they?
Just sales events.
Yeah.
How to best market the products.
Exactly, which isn't going to turn you into a better detailer skills-wise, might turn you into a better detailer commercially.
It's a successful one.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to know how.
So if I can give like a little bit of insight into how I saw my role when I was working for Nanalex. Nanalex is a very high-tech brand.
Yes.
So the foundations were already there for technology-driven training. But the whole sort of ethos that we had at Nanalex, all the way, the owners, everybody, even the chemists and the detailers, was that if we're using a high-tech brand, we should make every effort to know the full background of the technology that's used. Now, this was great for many reasons. The first reason is it's easy to sell tech if you are able to explain it. If you can explain to somebody how it's made and how it works and why it's better than everything else, it's sort of as far away as you can get of the sort of snake oil, this is like £500 a pot because it's so good.
Yes.
What does it do? You don't need to know what it does. You just need to know that it does do what it does. And I've met detailers that are associated with certain brands that regurgitate marketing.
Yes.
Because that's what they've been told, and the guys
you at Nanalex, though, were in a quite unique position that you actually had the person who was making it on site in a accessible location,
and I think
on the end of the phone that you can talk to.
Yeah, and I think that's part of the sort of relevance to each brand. That's what makes the difference. Because if you're training, so you have product training and you have detailer training, and then you have what we had, which was like technical product training, with also we'd have the Nanalex University events, which were an incredibly good source of training for people, where we would do detailer training with the products. So it was like a combined scenario.
The business side of the training as well, how to run a detailing centre, not in kind of minute detail, but how to market your services is just as valid in some ways.
Yeah, of course. And we, as UK Detailing Academy now, the majority of our time we spent writing course material and writing information booklets and doing all of the background research to make sure that the training we deliver is factually correct, but also complete. When you do a product training for a manufacturer, what they're teaching you is how to use the products in a manner that will make you use a lot of them in certain cases, not the same everywhere.
Well, we've seen it,
So you will end up using way more products. Yeah, I mean, we've spoken to detailers that have been on product training, and they've come away in the belief that they have to use full pre-wash products.
Yeah, well, we saw it with the PVD assessments where it's kind of snow foam again. It's like, why are you doing that?
Oh, well, that's how X has told me how to do it. It's like, why do you think they've done that? And then you see the sort of
dawning on their faces,
cogs clicking around, and they go, tits.
That's why I use 25 litres a car.
Yeah, it's because they want me to buy 100 litres of pre-wash a month. It's tricky, isn't it? I mean, like we were saying earlier, I was obsessed with the technology and I'd already been a detailer for many years. And I was very lucky that I got to spend the time, like Ian said, with the guys that were making the stuff and formulating the stuff and designing it. You can't get that at most brands because it isn't
a lot of the time they're almost off the shelf franchises. You know, you see a company at an expo like SEMA or something like that. Think, oh, that's a good idea. I'll import that into this country. Oh, what experience have you got in the industry? Nothing. I have money.
Yeah. And we see a lot. It's kind of the box shifting brands, and even big established brands. They think quite carefully about where their money lies. And so, if you've got a brand that is focusing primarily on the professional market, which was kind of Nanolex's gaff. I mean, now it's there, but they're very much focused on the professional application. So they're able, and I can see why they make more sense to focus on the professional application.
Yeah, but the thing is, it's again though, it's market dependent because in Germany it's very restrictive with regards to home detailing. So for them it was quite easy because the only market they had was the professional market in theory. There were a lot of hobby detailers that started coming out of the woodwork, but they'd still have to have all of the environmental aspects covered, all the drainage.
In Germany you can't just buy a bucket and sponge and call yourself a detailer like you can here.
Not at all. We on one of our Nürburgring trips we rinsed one of the cars off with a hose pipe, and the owner of the B&B nearly fell out of his top balcony screaming, "Turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. You can't wash your car.
Not without the license.
It's forbidden."
Verboten.
It's verboten.
I know that German word for some reason.
It's probably because of the road signs that you were driving up the one way against.
Well, if they're going to drive on the wrong side, then that's their fault.
Yeah, it's their fault.
Education by force.
Did you ever do any training with carskin?
That's an interesting question. You see,
Can you remember back that far? It was a long time ago, into the ether of 2013-ish, 12.
Well, a lot of it was, I mean, I have to admit, in the early days.
Pre-COVID.
Because what was interesting, what was passed on to me by the chap who supposedly, but it turns out didn't make it, was very much, I'd call it product application training. It's product training. It wasn't how to be a detailer. It was how to use
it in the first instance rather than any kind of aspect of troubleshooting.
Well, this is interesting because you bring that up, and it's been mentioned here in our sort of pre-podcast discussion, was about the importance of, you could argue, why do you need to know anything more than how to apply a product? And the answer is, if you don't understand how it works and how it all connects together and the bigger picture, when things go wrong, you don't have the understanding that's required to troubleshoot it yourself.
Well, this is why most, shall we say, support from companies stops at, "Oh, did you follow the instructions?" Yes. Well, you mustn't follow the instructions, right, because it's gone wrong. Hang on a minute, this is the real world. That's not how things actually work.
Or the other common response that you get from a lot of the extremely well-known brands in this industry is, "Oh, we'll just send you another bottle out."
Yeah, well,
honestly, that grates my cheddar more than anything else in this market is an absolute lack of tech support from 90% of these brands because they don't have anybody that knows it.
But it also doesn't cover the steps you then have to take in order to fix the problem that's being caused by the faulty batch.
I say, "Oh, we'll refer you to one of our other detailers that's worked it out for himself." No, you should have somebody that knows it. You should have someone that, like I said, that was sort of reverting back. That was kind of what I took pride in, was being that guy for Nanolix, is making sure that I had made all the mistakes and make sure that I had listened to all the problems and at least tried to make a solution for them.
So you were not only on the line for people who needed you, but also you were creating lots of detailers who were able to at least do sort of level 2 support to themselves rather than...
And each other as well, you know, and we'll get onto that in a little bit, but it was the community that was created, which I hope is still going.
Yeah.
I'm a bit sort of excluded from it now, but it was the ability for a detailer to ring another detailer and say, "Oh, have you ever done one of these before?" Even cars vary massively, mark by mark. "Oh, have you ever done a new Insignia?" "Oh, no, but, such and such has. Give him a ring. Give him a ring. Oh, yeah, this is what you need to do."
Yeah, you figure it out.
So what wax is best for a black car?
Boot wax.
Boot wax.
Yeah. Boot
Kiwi.
wax. Branded boot wax.
With the brush.
Parade gloss is the one.
Yeah, you've got to iron it on. That's the key to the gloss.
Yeah.
But the other, because it's an interesting point, that is also, where do you allocate your resources as a company, as an OEM selling a product? I mean, I was talking to one company, which remained nameless, but not necessarily in a bad way. And it was one that offered a guarantee on the products and basically said, if you're not happy, you get it back, or it'll last X amount of time, etc., etc. And I was sort of being a bit cynical and saying, well, what happens if people do? And they said they do come to us, and we do send out new products or replacement products, and it does cost us a certain amount a year, but it pales in comparison.
45 pence.
Well, it pales in comparison to the benefit that they get by offering these sort of, money back guarantee, 100% satisfaction, or it'll last 50 years, or whatever it is. They regard it as a straightforward business risk. You've looked at it like an actuary.
But we're talking on a level there where they must be creaming so much profit 99% of the year that the callbacks are irrelevant.
Well, absolutely.
And that's the problem with a lot of the brands, is that it's not. It isn't the cost of the product that's the issue. A brand can lose 45 quid on a bottle of ceramic coating, but who's going to swallow the cost of the detailer spending 4 days, realistically 3 or 4 days, redoing that entire vehicle?
Absolutely.
And then it's the
reputational damage.
That's exactly that. So it's the faith that, and again, this is sort of going back to the imparting technical knowledge onto the detailers as a brand, is that you are allowing the customer to build faith in the product, because the detailer knows how it works. He knows how it's made. He knows the technology behind it. He understands what he's using. It's like the difference, a good analogy for us two especially, it's like the difference between a cook and a chef. A cook will make food to a recipe using the ingredients that he's been told to put together.
Or she, yes.
Or she, persons.
Or they.
A chef will...
And it's...
A chef will go and fetch ingredients, and he'll create mixtures, and he'll
taste it out of a ladle and be able to know what to do.
A chef will do lines of cocaine off of the parts until somebody else figures it out.
And then put their fist...
I'm talking real world here.
Yeah, real world. And then punch clean through a steel locker. Seen that happen. I was very scared.
Hiding in that locker.
Oh, it's
it was actually just a stunt locker they brought in to scare you on your first day.
No, it was a genuine locker, because he went off to hospital after
that. And again, so we're looking at the ways in which different companies do it. Now, if you're a company based abroad, like, for example, Nanlex, based in Germany, they hold, is it the universities in Greece? Or as... No.
So they've now got a dedicated...
training facility.
It's a detailing facility. I'm not sure if they're doing detailing yet.
Yeah,
I don't think you have been there.
It's the one in town which we accidentally turned up.
No. The new one's in the technology park.
Oh, okay.
Just below where the
in the train and tank yard.
So did you go to where the flagpole was?
Yeah, we surveyed the area in front of us.
So if you look down and right, those big train sheds.
Yeah.
They now have a dedicated detailing centre in one of those.
That's very cool.
So they have a headquarters facility to do detailing, to do training events, to do the university events. University events were a sort of brainchild of Mike at Swell Detailing in Greece. And Florian and I had a little bit of help in it. I wrote some of the sort of material for it and gave suggestions and stuff. And that's where you get fully qualified detailers, guys that have been detailing for years, but you do a specific event that allows people to come to headquarters, which is part of the magic, really, is people want to go to the headquarters of the brand that they're affiliated with, meet all of the staff, meet all the people, all of the names
meet
involved.
the Oompa Loompas, go on the chocolate fountain ride.
Well, it's the thing. I mean, plenty of UK detailers have been over to Germany for that. I know there are people who've been over to Swiss Fax in Switzerland. I know that people who've, they do travel.
Oh, I'll be going to Swiss. I'll be going to Swiss Fax as soon as it's possible.
As soon as they let you through.
As soon as we're allowed to go.
The Flex Factory. That's a magical place.
Labo as well. I think Labo, their facility. I mean, imagine going there as a Labo approved detailer for an event.
That is a really cool studio.
It's like a soldier being invited to Buckingham Palace to meet the old lady. It's that sort of, you get to see what you're part of rather than...
or, fighter pilot going to, the factory where they make the
Not
jets.
sure about the little love shack outside that Reggie stayed in. I think that's for special invites.
That's a bit different.
Did you get your invite?
No.
Really?
Just you, I think.
That's what I've been
I
told
think
to
Bert
say.
and I are off trying to smoke again.
Oh.
Still failed.
Yeah.
But yeah, so part of the magic is going to the manufacturer. But the detailing events were a supercar university event where like myself, Mike led the training.
Mm-hmm.
We've both got quite a long spanning background in working on sporty stuff.
Yeah.
Robert from Apex in Germany dropped his 458 Special off, and we did that. And some of the guys there had never seen a car like that.
Yeah.
And that, again, that's part of the experience is being in that environment with all of the people associated with the brand in one place, and us teaching detailing with the products that we're sort of selling.
Yeah, and there's an echo effect. Is that, if you explain to your customer, and you might be based in Croydon, but if you tell your customer that you went down to Milan to train with Labo, or to wherever in
they probably look at you funny because you've obviously got a passport.
Yeah. Well, there is that element,
but you become part of something, and this is we talked about it earlier, the sort of preamble to the podcast, the Nanolex Nation hashtag that we started using, and it became, people wanted to be part of it because it was a community, and everybody felt included with the brand. And I think that's quite an unusual experience because it's extremely difficult. And then the larger the brand it is, the more impossible it seems to be.
Exactly.
But it's difficult to feel included in everything that's going on. Obviously, you're not, you're never going to be included in the business side of things.
But quite a few brands have got that nice little mini Facebook community now.
Yeah. That's a step in the right direction.
I've never been one to get involved in that because, frankly, I'm part introverted, part cynical to the point of don't like other people.
Yeah, you just have
that's the softest way I've ever heard you describe it.
Introvert, but is it occasional negative outburst?
Just once or twice a minute. But you've got, for example, in America again, that's a whole different world, but they've got detailing university by chemical guys.
I couldn't high five that many people in an American group.
No, that would be
they're very enthusiastic,
quite noisy. Yeah, but then you've also got places like Auto Geek and stuff do training, don't they?
So the Gloss University is the one for me, which is the one that Dave Patterson and the guys at Lake Country and Rad Company are involved.
So like Gloss College up the road.
No, not Gloss College.
Yeah,
Gloucester.
Gloucester. So yeah, the Gloss University, that is exactly, my idea of a perfect event.
Yeah.
You've got affiliation with various different brands. I think it's 2 days, is it?
Where is it?
Merca.
Oh, okay.
Merca.
Sorry, do you mean America or Merca, the sanding company?
Oh no, America.
Okay,
America,
I thought you actually meant Merca. They do standalone courses, do they? Yeah, but where in America? It's quite a large place, I've heard.
Well, no, let's be honest. If it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be in the same town that Rad Company, Lake Country, everybody else in the world that's related.
Well, the apparent detailing tax haven is Boise.
Yeah, it's like the detailing capital of America.
Yeah. Well, you get it. I mean, I was looking on the Kochami website of all places, and they had a US headquarters, and I'm a nosy bugger, so I went straight onto the Google Earth.
Is it in
and had a
Boise?
look. Well, I can't remember, but it's in America. But I went on Google Earth and then looked at it, and it said G-Technic America. So it's because I guess common importers or some sort of history, or it just hasn't updated on Google. But it's fascinating. I did the same with Mur, and the Mur HQ was full of Ferrecla vans.
It's like a Spider-Man meme, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like every brand in the detailing industry is exactly the same, and they're all just pointing at each other. It's you. No, it's you. It's you.
But
in terms of locations over in the States, you look at studios and setups like Todd Cooper Riders.
Yeah,
and he has massive meets over there as well.
Yeah.
Well, not recently. But.
Well, you've got a community. Who was that community? It was a couple of issues ago that was tied in with Autoality, and it was because you've got the Detailing Mafia. That's not it, but it's the Detailing Republic or something like that. I can't remember now. But it's all that's kind of centered around one detail shop with lots of other professional detailers moving in on it. It's not specifically a brand yet.
But the key here is for OEMs to jump on that.
Well, Maguire's used to have massive get-togethers over there.
Yeah.
They do that to a certain extent over here, but they're more orientated towards car clubs.
Exactly, they're not specifically about
it's an enthusiast brand.
Yeah,
exactly.
Maguire's is full on hobby these days over here.
Yeah, no,
excuse me.
From a professional point of view, communication is tricky. But I mean, again,
if you run a high-tech brand, high technology, and it's a premium brand,
you've got to train.
You've got to get that family spirit knitted together. You've got to get people to the factory if you even have one.
Yeah.
That's one of the problems.
That yes, you
Tattoos are essential.
Tattoos are essential.
Yeah.
Hey, Petri got an
Barcode,
Analex tattoo.
Yes, I
Petri
heard
got an
about that.
Analex tattoo. He got because Analex corporate colour was purple, so I egged him on.
You just punched him
into getting the evil minion. You know.
Oh yeah, with the
purple
crazy
minions.
hair.
Yeah. So he
Probably
got
Kevin.
It's pretty funny actually, but it had a girl called Holly in Coventry near Rico because he used to get it done at Waxstock every year. His tattoos, and she his username online is Wolfenstein.
Yes.
So he had an angry minion with like a wolf hat on type thing. It was really cool. But yeah, you know, but silly things like that. You know, it was like our distributor meetings were basically an opportunity to smoke 40 fags indoors and start drinking beer at 11 a.m. whilst talking about products and
stuff that you'd otherwise want to be talking about anyway. So.
Yeah, but stuff like that, you know, it makes a big difference because when the company announces something, if it's not as popular, you know, if it's something that isn't necessarily a good announcement, you're kind of like, all right, well, you know, we can work with this. We can, you know, we can make it work. Or if there's a problem with the product, it's like, oh, you know, just letting you guys know.
I mean, it certainly makes it stronger. But I'd also say, I mean, it opens up vulnerabilities. I know some are cautious against creating a sort of a big group simply because if you're such a close-knit group and then for whatever reason you fall out with a manufacturer, it will spread like wildfire. Whereas if you keep all your customers separate from each other, if you've got one very unhappy customer, a stroppy customer, then you can kind of isolate them and weaken them. So it is a bit of a
well, I mean, I sort of half experienced it, didn't I, when I left Nanlex? You know, I'd built up a sort of UK family, so to speak, and you know, once that sort of bond is broken with the brand, you're kind of outside the network.
Yeah,
but you know, I still keep in touch with a lot of the guys, and they're hopefully still talking to each other.
Yeah, well, I think in the broader spectrum is that sort of quality, all-encompassing, all-in-one sort of OEM training is actually something we should really foster a bit because there isn't enough here. I mean, I remember back in my previous life in IT, I went to Switzerland for 2 days purely for training on Cat5 cable. Yeah, literally 2 whole days on Ethernet cable technology, which I feel, I mean, it added to my character a lot, but that was what I was in.
There is an element of training being like, I've got a lot of friends in various trades that go on stuff like that.
Yeah,
where it's more of like
certainly wasn't
like one of their suppliers will invite them on like a training event. And they'll go there and they'll just talk about like an electrical connector for 2 days.
Yeah, RJ45, baby.
Yeah, RJ45s. You know, and they'll come back and it's like, you know, we got a trip away and
it was the thing. It was professional development, and it wasn't just a piss up. I mean, you might have had a pint or two. Although I couldn't. In Switzerland, I got terribly confused because there seemed to be about 10 different languages and 3 different currencies. And
I was about to say, was that the one you went into the presentation at and found out nobody actually spoke English?
No, that was in Italy, where you spent 2 days training, and this was for end user training, and it was I landed up for 9 a.m. in Milan, carried out the training until lunch break. They went to lunch break. They came back 2.5 hours later, mostly pissed. And then in the afternoon, at the end of the day, I said, right, are there any questions? And I got lots of blank things. So I thought, sod it, I'm going to head them there. Turned out there was only one person who spoke English in the whole room. And it was particularly awkward because they'd paid for 2 days worth of training. Or actually, they hadn't paid. They'd commissioned 2 days worth of training. The payment was a whole different kettle of fish. And I came in the next day.
They paid you in kettles of fish?
Yes, it's a done thing. It's northern Italy, but no, and
it was very confusing before the euro came in.
The following, the euro had already come in.
I'll trade you a carafe of diesel. I don't really want that.
And the next day they just watched the football because I realised that they wouldn't understand what I was saying.
Has priority over everything else,
and they had 2 days off. You what? I didn't watch football. I was bored rigid. I just kept up with emails and was working. I was working hard in them days. And flew back. Well, all over the place. I was doing 2 countries.
Implying that you don't now.
2 countries a week. Well, now I sit in front of a computer and talk to people. It's a bit different. My point being is that professional training in other industries is a big deal and taken very seriously. And perhaps we should be leaning on the OEMs to provide not sales training, not simple how-to guides, but proper all-encompassing training all around, or at least, entail third parties to do it.
This sort of leads us on to how we got started on this topic, doesn't it?
It does.
Because it was we're not naming any brands or any persons in particular, but there seems to be
Derek.
Huh?
Sorry,
Derek.
I was making a joke to myself, but then I realised we're on a podcast, so it's probably a pretty silly thing to do, really.
Well, jokes on this podcast
or not, really.
Yeah. But it was the sort of a trend for.
Well, hang on.
How can I politely say this?
No, let me say it. So
you
that
say
it's
it.
not
I'm terrible at being polite.
Well, we asked which manufacturers do we know operating in the UK, not necessarily from the UK, have really experienced, sort of legitimately experienced training people / facilities for UK professional detailers.
Yeah, technically spec'd up on detailing and all of the products and the tech behind the products.
Not people who've just done a kind of a 3-day, orientation course at HQ many years ago or something like that. We're talking about proper experienced detailers with sort of 10, 15 years plus experience who could be, as a detailer, earning, 50 plus grand a year, but have decided...
Not in this country.
Okay. Well,
no, but a lot of people pay for you to go abroad where they pay people properly for you.
And actually how many have got, legitimate detailers? It's all very well having, and James said this because he was pointing out, is that there are a lot who've got yes men or people who know enough to take a kind of enthusiast or basic entry level course and just give product training and stuff like that, and that's great, and a lot of those are offered at no charge, and it's a kind of a more commercial thing. But how many really hardcore sort of proper trainers do we actually have that are entirely funded? And I've
completely lost track of this question, I have to say.
How many like full-on experts are there doing training for OEMs?
Yeah, full time. We
for
can
OEMs.
We can think of some really talented detailers who do work that outsourced effectively, which is, there's nothing wrong with that.
But even some of the really amazing visits we've done to OEMs,
we've then been presented with people who can't
they're
answer our
marketing
questions.
guys. They're marketing guys, and you have to go and start, rooting around in offices in the background where you're not supposed to be, asking people questions that the owner doesn't want you talking to.
And there's no harm in marketing as long as they are presented as marketing people, not as...
2 is the answer to the question.
2.
Okay.
Shall we move on?
Okie dokie. Well, we shall move on now. Otherwise, it's true. James and I particularly...
Well, sorry, just a final thought.
Yeah.
Do you think it's even necessary to have those super technically knowledgeable
for a large
people?
brand, yes. For a small independent, unlikely.
Well, even for a large brand, is it commercially viable?
It's commercially viable as long as you combine it with some sort of ambassadorship role.
Yeah, but again, you get lots of these people who are required to be salespeople, social media darlings,
but does an ambassador
trainers?
Will an ambassador do the job? That's the question. No. Will they do the job that an OEM wants them to do, which is to promote the brand, get people to buy the products, give them a brief understanding on how to use the stuff?
Yeah.
And maybe sort of go around the office at the end of the day, empty the bins.
Empty the bins.
Exactly that sort of thing. So,
dry clean the owner's car. Yeah. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's a changing world. I don't think so. I think that we actually need more people that have a thirst for knowledge. Mm-hmm. She studied sculpture at St Martin's College.
Supply and demand is a thing. If you do start asking for proper hardcore training on the detail stuff, not be palmed off as one day, here's a product, this is how you apply it, this is how you sell it.
And now you are a master ambassador for the brand. For that, you get 8% off.
Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, I've just thought of somebody who is technically. He's a friend of ours. So, yeah.
I haven't got any friends. That's a myth.
Okay, well, he's a friend of ours as magazine. I've just realised, so there is one. But, the answer is there aren't enough, is what I'm going to say. But commercially, maybe there isn't the market to sustain them.
I'm not so sure. Because I think that friend you're thinking of, I think he'll do well.
Oh, I think he'll do very well.
But he was an expert before they took him on.
That's true, but in a way, that's more legitimate. If you make it your own.
I know you're talking
what I'd be interested to see...
That was one of my 2.
Yeah, that was one of your 2.
Am I the other?
No.
Oh.
Who is the other?
I'm not saying that.
Give us a hint that we would understand.
A gentleman never tells.
So now we are going to be on car news. What's happened to your crusty old BMW?
Oh.
Which one?
Well, I've had quite a lot going on, actually, thinking about it, because we haven't done a...
Oh, we did. Yeah, that's right.
We haven't done a normal podcast since Christmas, have we?
No.
Yeah.
So, first of all, I spent a few days, New Year's Eve it was. I was here until 8:30 New Year's Eve.
To be fair, it was only one day if it was on New Year's Eve.
Well, and I was going to finish off by saying on the next day.
Yeah, but you see, you spent a few years on New Year's Eve.
God, there's always a pedant, isn't there?
So over the span of 2 years,
And it's normally in
2020 and 2021,
Yeah,
I
You spent 2 years trying to fix one thing on your car, is what you're trying to say.
sounds about right.
basically the Skoda came with a service history that left a bit to be desired for, mainly because the mileage and the dates and the stamps didn't match any of the few receipts that it actually came with. So
Maybe if you check the chassis number, it even matches it.
It's really difficult to read where it's been filed off.
it's true. That's true. It's the body filler in that's the issue. So I decided to take it upon myself to do a timing belt on my own on a 2-litre TFSI engine.
How did that go for you?
All right. It was an absolute nightmare. I won't be doing it again. Nothing in comparison to the thermostat that needed changing at the same time, which required half the engine to come out. Then a service, and then the E36, because Ian was doing cabriolet stuff. I thought I'd get my hair straighteners out and come in for a bit of a hairdresser's day with him. And
The unit was scissors at dawn, wasn't it?
It was scissors at dawn, yeah.
It was when we started playing volleyball with our shirts off, it kind of got a little bit weird.
Yeah, it was the hose pipe.
Because it was January.
Yeah, I saw the CCTV footage, by the way. Quite a good profit there.
We don't talk about that. So I decided to try and get when I bought the E36, the roof was in-op.
Well, when you bought the E36, you said to me, "Oh, I know these roofs. It's dead simple. All you do is like click it back, click it forward, boom, it's fixed." And then suddenly you got yourself a bargain E36. Did it happen like that?
It actually did, didn't it, Ian? To start with.
Don't bring me into this.
So it did. That was the case. It all clicked in and it did operate.
Mm-hmm.
But then it turns out that there's a common fail point on the front latch motor where the worm drives are plastic. And after 20 odd years,
Good German quality there.
Crack and snap. Crack, snapple and pobs.
Pop.
There was a point where we had 2 sets of jump leads connected up to a battery charger, and you were just kind of waving 2 bits of wire around in the air trying to get it to work.
Yeah, that didn't work.
It was like dowsing for electricity.
Yeah. But yeah, I kind of at the point where I know what's up with it.
Yeah.
But it needed a new cover anyway. So once I've got the electrics working, it'll be going up to a specialist in Stockport.
Sounds expensive.
Yep. And then the E65 series,
Which you came in today, I saw.
That's now hybrid.
Yep.
So I have to charge it up every night.
Okay.
If it's below 7 degrees, we use the Skoda.
Is it because the battery's shot or the
No,
alternator's
it's
shot?
because when I changed the glow plugs, I decided that I knew better than all of the advice online, and I didn't change the glow plug controller.
Ah, okay.
So it has 6 brand new glow plugs, and still only 2 of them light up.
Ah.
Which is great for an M57 engine, which has had the swirl flaps deleted because they don't like starting anyway. So that can buy me no glow plugs. And then my dad's E60 was in at Connolly Motors in Stockport, who's a good friend of mine, Danny.
That's a 530?
Yeah, he's got a 530D, which is incredibly in good condition, much better than mine, cost less than mine. We don't anyway. We don't talk sour about that.
Slightly bitter there.
So he's needed.
Your dad's got a really nice ML as well.
Yeah, he's got an ML270 CDI, an old girl 163 W163.
Yeah, and because your dad had A8s like mine back in the day as well.
Yeah, he's had loads of big barges.
Do you think good choices just skip a generation sometime?
No, because he had an E30.
Oh, okay. But you had E30s too.
Yeah, exactly. So I make the same good decisions that he makes.
Oh, good to see. Right, yeah.
And to be fair, I told him to get an E60. So
yeah.
So his went in for rear brake lines with Danny, and they run over the fuel tank. So it was a big job.
Yeah.
So got it trailered over there because COVID restrictions. We're trying to be as good as we possibly can.
You're basically farming out the infections and poor delivery driver.
Yeah, sending the infections
Send a sacrificial goat in.
If he's happy to do it.
Yeah.
So we trailered my dad's car over to Danny, had all the work done, and then my dad was worried about collecting it because we're living here. And the suggestion was made that I send my beloved E34 in replacement for his 5 Series so that we could split the trailer costs. So my E34 is currently under the knife.
Mm-hmm. And you're taking it well? Sleeping okay?
Well, Well, I've had the quote.
Yes, I remember that. I saw the ambulance arrive.
Yeah, I've had the quote and I've given the go ahead. And I've. Yeah.
And you haven't heard anything, have you?
No. I'm making some assumptions. The first one is that they're actually willing to work on it.
Yes.
And the second is that.
I don't think there's that much shame anymore working on BMWs. I think
The second is that they haven't found my new mobile number yet. Because I've switched it 4 times since dropping it off.
Have you? I don't have your new mobile then.
No, nobody's got my new mobile number. I'm joking.
Well, it's like James.
I'm joking. I'm
It's
trying
like, not like James, like Ian. He's got various mobile numbers that he keeps stum, so nobody can actually contact him.
Yeah, he's got his pimping phone. He's got his prison.
I work off burners.
He's got his prison butt phone,
shaped like a bar of soap.
and then he's got his K-pop Korea miniature phone for his little K-pop music videos. No, so the E34 is being worked on. It should be roadworthy very, very soon.
So what works? You've still got the lay on, haven't you?
No.
Oh no, you sold that. I remember the poor bloke. Yeah, no, absolutely. What a buy! What a steal that was. That was great.
Well, he hasn't been back in touch.
No.
So no, I've got Skoda.
It's a deep ditch.
It's a Peugeot.
He's still trying to get in the driver's door.
No, driver's door was fine. I think it was the other ones he had a problem.
What is your personal immediate family fleet? It's the Skoda, the Skoda that's got a dodgy provenance, but you've had a bit of a fiddle. You've got the
Skoda's
E60.
fine. Skoda's absolutely fine now.
Okay, you've got the E60 that only starts when it
Apart
wants
from
to.
the tyres.
Yeah, one tyre goes down.
You've got the
And they're made in China.
E36 that's a permanent convertible.
Well, no, it's not anymore. It's permanent hardtop at the the moment. That's
just
under a space sheet.
Under a sheet. And then you've got your old E34 5 Series, which is currently undergoing therapy.
Yeah.
So, okay, so things are quite tough at the moment, James, for you. I mean,
Yeah, I've only got 4.
yeah, 4, but in terms of actual completely reliable operating, you've only got the Skoda Scud.
Out of the 4 cars that I've got, 3 are BMWs, and the one that works is a Skoda.
You got your bicycle out though.
Yeah, to look
You finally got it back. It turns out they didn't actually steal it.
Yeah, he's got it back again.
Oh, he's got it back again, has he?
Yeah.
Because you were going to get him to set the suspension up for your weight. Did he do that?
No, he didn't. He dropped it off worse than it was and gave me a pump. So I set the suspension. His primary job. I've got
somebody set suspension based on my weight.
So yeah, you have to.
Oh God.
What are they going to do on otherwise?
Well, I don't know.
What other factors are there for suspension?
Well, I've never
that they
had a
can set
bike
it
where
up
you have
for?
set suspension, to be honest. I've only had one bike with suspension.
You're not going to set it up for your surface area.
Was that when you put a sprung seat on your penny farthing?
I did actually have a saddle with a little damper. No, I do. But to be fair, my old Trek 4,500.
What they made you wear in boarding school doesn't come into this conversation.
I had that in boarding school. It's my one release. Well, not my one release.
Yeah.
That had springs ultimately that you rock shocks or something.
So I've got a hardtail downhill bike which has got Fox 36s on it on the front, and I think they were deflated for shipping.
Right.
So when I put them on, they just squished out. So I asked him to set it to my weight, which is a relatively simple task. You just got to pump it up until it's at a certain PSI. Didn't do it.
Did you tell him your right weight though?
Yeah, it's on right. Actually,
Overestimated.
Yeah.
So 65.
So, but the primary job for him to do was to stop the chain from slipping and to sort the gears out. It came back with index gears, and the chain was slipping.
Okay.
And I asked him to bleed the brakes because they were spongy, but they were still spongy when it came back. So
how much are you paying for this
2 weeks? Quite a lot, actually. I mean,
you weren't even sure it was going to come back when it came up and picked up in a van.
I wasn't sure it was going to come back, but I did pay quite a lot to have it done, and I'm quite tight when it comes to bikes because I usually do it all myself,
as opposed to everything else.
Yeah.
It's like having a white van show up in the morning with school bus written in red paint down the side of it. Yeah, I'm here for your son.
And Bert's detective picture on the side of it. Hey, you know me. You can trust me. So yeah, it's back with him. He's had it 8 days and I haven't heard from him. Assuming I still own it.
Yeah.
But sun's out now. Time to get the Lycra out.
Said no one.
Stand by your beds.
Oh. Ugh. So, Ian, before we go into too much detail about James and Lycra,
or any,
you've been.
Let's just divert away from that straight away.
I'm trying to work out now. Strange enough, I bumped into a neighbour 2 houses down from me due to a
That's
sewage.
about 20 miles away, isn't it?
It's a bit of a distance, but there was a sewage blockage, so it was in. He wanted to.
Oh, something to bond over then.
Yeah, no, honestly, we were rodding away, and on that's this Saturday actually, and the smell was horrific. And it turns out he had building work, and they put stones down the drains, and that's why the sewage was completely blocked. And anyway, I don't want to get into too much depth, but he looked at my driveway, as my partner calls it, the Subaru graveyard, and he identified that I'm a car enthusiast correctly. And then he said he's a car enthusiast. Shut up. I'd said that he's a car enthusiast too, and he has an MGF on his driveway that's been there for 4 years.
Did you hug him?
Huh?
Did you hug him and say, I'm sorry for your loss?
No, I said MGF. Yeah, I thought of you immediately. So, what's your plan with your MGF? Because you always said sell
I
it.
just want to get it through MOT and get a shot of it now, frankly.
Oh, okay.
We only bought it to do that little segment with
John.
With Delia.
I thought you were starting to fall for it.
No.
Drive past at night sometimes and to see a light on here.
No,
He's being coy. I've seen him in here on his own working on it.
Yeah, I thought he was starting
Because
to
I
bond.
can't convince anyone else to do it for me.
With his
Technically, you haven't asked me to do any work on it.
Well, no, because I wouldn't
nor
have done
would he.
competently.
Oh, well, competently. Now you put in qualifiers.
He has quiet Sunday afternoons with his Disney playlist and the MGF in here. I caught him yesterday.
He's brought his armchair in here as well, the office. He's while we're all in lockdown, he quietly comes in his own, sits in an armchair to escape his family.
That's not true.
Yeah, it is.
So, okay, so the F is destined.
You're only one step above spending time with my family.
What do you mean I'm only one step above that?
I'm not sure if I show offence to that or not.
Yeah. Oh,
No, go for it.
yeah. It's not going to make any difference. So our joint concern, the Renault 5, is looking pretty but still missing CV joints because
Yeah, what's happened with those?
Yeah, what's
How
happening
long
with
ago
those?
did we order those?
over a
the
month
second
and it
ones.
still hasn't blooming come.
What you should have done is ordered them from Germany.
I did order them from Germany. As in, the parts were the ones the original
Yeah, the second ones he ordered from Germany. The first ones he ordered from the UK and they were wrong, and he was very smug because he got them through very quickly and said, "Oh, those top mounts you ordered from Germany are taking ages to get here." The ones I ordered from Germany were the correct ones, so they actually were installed and they're on the car now. But the CV joints are still 3 weeks in the wind.
God knows. Yeah, they've been there. I got a notification to say that they've been shipped when I pushed because I sent an email and said, "Look, oi, haven't had this."
At this point,
And
it would have
then-
been quicker to get a different gearbox, different drive shafts, and just throw it together.
It may well have been, but not necessarily cost effective.
Probably.
Well, possibly. But anyway, so that's looking very pretty, but not going anywhere. But once it does, we will definitely be singing from the hills so that we can find a suitable patron to
You're going to
look
rip
after
a
it.
skid in the car park in it.
I'm not.
I am. MGF came in yesterday because it wouldn't stop, never stop, going to stop
No,
giving up stopping.
It came in because it went for an MOT on Friday, and the only thing that they could find with it was that it was stopping far too well.
Which is hilarious because the previous MOT, it wasn't stopping well enough. And do you know how much work was done to the brakes between MOTs?
None.
Absolutely none.
No, I took them off and I hit them.
Oh, you drizzled olive oil over them. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's it. They said the brakes were binding, so I put oil over the discs and they weren't binding, but apparently that still wasn't enough.
So yeah, I came in here yesterday to find the workshop covered in brake fluid and Ian covered in.
My eyes mostly covered in brake fluid.
It looked like he got overexcited with the car.
But shout out to Big Red.
Oh, yeah, Big Red are awesome.
Shout out to Big Red because they
Website's
did
useless, but they're awesome.
rebuild kit for 27 quid for both calipers.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
Speaking of Big Red,
Even gave me loads of spares.
well, speaking of Big Red, that's a nice, what do you call it, an intersection between two thingamajiggles, but it's...
Are you going to go on about the bloke you met in a gas station when you did your tour of the United States?
No.
Was his name not Big Red?
Oh,
No, that was
No.
the,
Oh, Big Dave. Big
was
Dave,
the-
wasn't it?
Dave, yeah,
no,
but
the,
no.
the description of him was Big Red.
throbbing. What do you call it when you split from one sequence to another? It's got a name. A segue. A segue. There we go.
Oh, one of them two-wheeled things.
Yeah.
One of those.
What? So yeah, well, the only news that I have is that the very venerable VOD, who is the 3.7 hybrid V8, is going in for a little bit TLC with the D2 Doctor, and I'm getting Big Red as a courtesy car. And Big Red is a 2.8 final edition style A8 with big 20-inch rims, but very very bright red.
Oh, has it got the leather pack too?
It does have leather pack too. Yes.
All the best cars have those.
Yes. Well, so does Fritz now.
Yeah, but Big Red came with it.
It wasn't just an aftermarket add-on by somebody who dreams about having a fully finished car.
No, well, yeah, but I mean, Final Editions, for example, didn't have Alcantara headlining. I put that into Fritz, and all the other bits and bobs. Still looking for Leather Pack 3 of him. Who's got D2 no, not FL2. Rather.
Does Leather Pack 3 come with the ball gag?
No, it comes with a full dash leather, so it's all right from the top.
Thanks for
nobody's ever seen one. Yeah, you're just making it sexual all of a sudden. But no, VOD's going off the rear back boxes on its arse egg. So I got a stainless steel back box from Germany.
You started modifying it.
I'm not modifying it. It was cheaper than OEM from Audi.
That's because you went to Audi for starters.
Let's start a list of things that are cheaper than OEM from Audi. Gold-plated toilet seats.
Yes.
The Queen's crown jewels.
Yes, a Subaru.
You could have just got a Bosel one.
Yeah, no, this is it's just called Super Sprint or something from Germany. It's like German.
Sorry. Say that again.
Super Sprint.
Or something.
Yes.
Sorry, is that the passé comment that Super Sprint are relatively unknown?
Well, to me they are.
Right.
Well, it doesn't have
maybe you should do some research on who Super Sprint are.
Okay, well anyway, it's from Super Sprint.
Who are Super Sprint?
They're like the most well-known performance exhaust manufacturer in the world.
Okay, well, that's good.
Wow.
I just a bloke in Wilton always used to do
Powerflow
custom.
Scorpion.
No.
Scott and
I've
Hayward.
heard of both of those.
Haywardy Scott.
Yeah, but they're not world-known.
Magnex. I had Magnex.
Yeah, Magnex are right.
Yeah.
Super Sprint are... My first M3 had a Super Sprint race system on it.
Doesn't sound like a massively German name, I have to say.
If you say it like this, Super Sprint.
Then it sounds German. Yeah,
Super
but you could say
Sprinted.
that of anything. Say
Super
Winston
Sprint.
Churchill in a German accent. He sounds like a German.
It's borderline.
Winston Churchill.
Borderline.
Say Elizabeth
Second World
Windsor
War.
in a German accent. She said, "Oh, hang on."
Isn't it Saxe Coburg?
Well, anyway, it took
Can't call
ages.
them animal.
Sorry.
It took ages to arrive from Germany, and now it's come dented. And then, as a kick up the posterior, afterwards, I got a £79 bill for importing from that really foreign area of the EU, and it's cost me an absolute fortune.
Brexit means Brexit.
Yeah,
Brexit means
Joy.
Brexit.
Brilliant, great.
This is
So you
what
say-
Have a medal.
You say it's dented, but if you're trying to get max flow rate in exhaust, it's kind of like a reverse golf ball. So you've got the little dimples on the golf ball to cut down on the.
This is a 4-inch dimple. And there's
you
only
just
one
need
of
to
them.
put more in, basically.
I'm not doing that shiny as it is. I like shiny. but
4 inch. That's about that big, right?
Yes, James.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Just for those not watching on the camera that we're not running, James made a small symbol. So yes, that's happening, and also because the date brakes are pretty poor. Because I've had a couple times in VOD when I've needed to get from A to B rather quicker than floaty, and the first thing that happened is the brakes caught fire, despite having relatively new pads and stuff. So I got some Recon D3 S8 brakes that are going on it.
So you're not modifying it.
Not modifying it, no. They're actually only 2 piston.
Sorry,
They're
I should rephrase that. So you're not ruining it.
not ruining it, no. They're only 360mm discs. I mean, they're
So
tiny
this
wee.
car that was rescued from a scrapyard now owes you 10 grand?
No, bugger off. It's less than 4 figures for everything, including labour.
On top of the car and the wheels.
On
and
top of the
tyres.
car. The wheels, I made my money back on the wheels by selling the little ones for the same price they wanted for the big ones. And yes, I've had to put tyres on a car. Just like
Listen, you
everybody
don't
else
have
has
to justify it to me. I'm just trying to pick holes in your flawed vehicle.
No, it's still been
Process.
the cheapest vehicle per mile. I've done over 20,000 miles in it, and it's cost me a damn sight less than if I got something on lease or some fancy pants modern car with cruise control that works and Bluetooth. I'm happy with my long wave radio and my slightly cracked leather and that strange whiff that I think somebody or something has died somewhere in it, and the mould under the dealer stickers that I can't get rid of without taking the dealer stickers off, which goes against me.
But
you'll put
that smell, that's you
Yep.
Oh.
over 35.
It
now.
is, to be fair, it is only there when I'm there. Or rather, I'm only aware of it when I'm there.
You
should
should only ever
definitely-
smell it when you're there.
Yeah.
You
Well,
should definitely worry about keeping the dealer stickers on as you're bastardising the rest of the car, though.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, it's all Audi. Anyway, never mind. So that's
It's like the
small
Range Rover
things
we've
that are
got down
happening
at the
to mine.
body shop at the moment, where the guy's intent on getting everything as original as possible, and he wants the CSK logos
Yep.
painted on sort of the original vinyls, and the giant sub he's put in the boot, and the reversing
LEDs
cameras,
everywhere.
and the LED
Yeah, no, the
puddle lights, and
Yeah.
but original though.
It's original, yeah,
Absolutely
the
completely
dealer sticker. I'm not bothered about originality. You've just muted my microphone. No, you haven't.
I muted my microphone because I'm still eating fruitellas.
It's fruitellery.
Pie. So yeah, no, it's not originality I'm bothered about. It's the fact that is the sticker I know that you peel a little bit off and then it'll cut, and then you have to peel another bit off, and then you start spraying tar and glue or applying it via a microfiber or however, and then you end up with no nails and all sorts of stuff. So I'm just
we'll have to just smash the glass. Yeah. Do you want a hand?
No, it's a rear screen.
Do you know what is quite a good way to smash a rear window on an A8? If you use a Subaru at speed
from a bridge.
Hang on, didn't you rear end your dad in an A8?
It had absolutely no effect.
Yeah, you used a BMW at speed to insert into your dad's Audi's rear end, and how did that go down? I mean, in terms of damaging rear ends.
Well, it didn't damage the Audi, did it?
No, I remember now. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, this is an experiment. Let's see if I can get a BMW to go through the Audi's rear screen. For science.
Subaru. We don't need to sacrifice a BMW to do this.
Don't need to sacrifice anything. It's unnecessary. But anyway, so that's what's happening.
Challenge accepted.
How are the Subarus?
They're fine. They're doing nicely. They're going a bit green.
Haven't floated away yet.
No, not quite yet.
Haven't eroded away yet.
How close was Uncrashable to the edge of the river?
Approximately 1 metre and 45 centimetres.
Meadow, whatever it is.
Yeah.
Lake.
Stream / torrent.
Flood.
Yeah. It was
breach.
So are we still running at 1 out of 3 at the moment?
1 out of 3.
Cylinders.
1 out of 3, and that's all right.
No, one's working absolutely fine. We're dogging it all over the place. It's brilliant. We went through
Have you fitted all those stupid turbochargers to it yet and ruined it?
No, it's not. It's a TDO4. It's not stupid. I've got a 3-inch straight through exhaust and a TDO4. And it will need a bit of a map. And
he doesn't need stupid turbochargers to ruin those cars.
No,
he can do that perfectly well without stupid turbochargers.
And the RCM fuel pump. And then it'll be pushing 280, 300 and something brake. And that'd be lovely.
Yep. And it'll be worth less than it is now.
No, it's not.
It will be.
Seriously, you should see Subaru money.
I really shouldn't.
No, Subaru's online. If you want to get a classic or anything new age, which has been either box standard lowish mileage or really well modified, you're paying absolute amazing money. We were looking
well, there you go. You're looking for a really well modified Subaru. You're practically asking the impossible.
No, there are tons online with forged engines, all the kit, and they're asking for 15 grand for a 15-year-old car, which can be outpaced by a GTR or a 488 Pista
or a stock BMW diesel.
No.
Yes.
No.
I'm pretty sure a 535D would do them all in.
No, I'm pretty
Otherwise,
sure
the police wouldn't use them.
Yeah, all 2 tons of them. The police just don't have taste. I don't know why the police don't use Subarus. I mean, they did occasionally now and then, but no, Scoops, a properly modified classic, will show a clean pair of heels to any BMW.
I do quite object to the term classic being used for those.
Well, they are
because they're not, are they? They're not classic.
They are a classic. They
should be like the Subaru, like Chav. They should call it. That'd be a better name. The Subaru Chav. That'd be a good name for the GC8.
All right. Coming from Mr. E36 Conv without even a decent engine in it.
Classic car now.
What year is it? Actually, don't care. Next section we're going to be moving on to is brand communities and online groups and the kind of
Facebook groups
to an extent, but
the
also
shark pool of the detailing world.
It builds on what particularly James was saying earlier when we were talking about manufacturer training, and that actually in terms of creating professional groups, having or rather professional training, having a group that's kind of emerged from said professional training can work really well. And I know there are some professional groups that operate at the moment where the guys are they're overjoyed. It's going really well. Everybody gets on with each other. Lots of really useful stuff. Well, there was a PVD group, but I was talking more manufacturer based.
I just had a message off one of our regulars, Dave Whitehouse, had just messaged me. He wants me to call him. I don't know if it's a personal call or not.
Clanging your name drop over there.
Clang.
Yeah.
PVD's doing great. Everyone's actually quite nice at the moment.
We haven't had any. No, not at all. And we're getting loads of hits. And yesterday we had over 300 and something people make searches on the website on a Sunday, and I think we had 12
heathens
direct quote referrals.
First question that Ian and I want to know is, what were you doing yesterday?
I was building a dog hut. I've got photos to prove it.
The de-stressing.
Yes, it's remarkably therapeutic.
Apart from all your terribly broken cars.
Have you know, I'm still working normal days from 9 till 7.
I thought the de-stressing was for the dogs.
Yeah, the dogs do bugger all. They just sit around eating food and making a mess.
Sounds like a great way to live.
Yeah, damn straight. I'm jealous. But yeah, no, in terms of different communities you've got out there, and I mean, for example, in terms of public groups, you've got various public Facebook groups, which can be
savage.
It's very savage.
Savage.
Yes.
Oh, savage.
And so, in a way, part of the problem with that is that any Tom, Dick, or Harry can come into them. Whereas when you've got manufacturer groups, there's restriction that way around often, not always.
The secret member group kind of thing.
The secret member groups are people who've all got something in common. They've all done a training course, or they've all qualified to be in PBD, or whatever.
The same conviction.
Well, not necessarily. They've just got the same conviction and qualification are different. They are
debatable.
Yes, it is.
It's debatable. They're both the result of something that you've achieved.
Just one of them you've been caught for.
Well, caught or assessed.
Yes.
Eh? So I'm just trying to justify my past.
Really, we're just sort of musing over which one. So, for example, you've got Dodo Juice World is one that's big and it's been around for ages and it's enthusiast. So I don't think there's any particular qualification to be in there. But there's lots of sort of...
Is that the one that Vinny runs?
Common Dodo love. I think Vinny is tightly involved in it. And there is actually, I don't ever see, to my knowledge, any bitching or scoring points or anything like that. It all seems to be pretty nice and friendly. Whereas...
Yeah, but that's, again, it's brand related, isn't it?
It is.
Like you were saying a minute ago, everybody's there for the same reason. They love the brand.
Yes.
If they don't love the brand, then they leave. So they're all sort of on the same song sheet.
Yeah.
Likewise with... I think I was invited to the Car Chem discussion group.
Yes, I've been recently invited to that, and they were doing
and again, that's pretty.
Yeah,
that's quite good. They sort of released products in there and stuff like that.
Well, they were starting what's interesting, they did a surprise pack, a mystery box.
Oh, that was funny.
That was quite entertaining. But they've now started up a splinter group, which is where they buy and sell and swap stuff. So if you've got your surprise pack and you were not happily surprised, you can swap your 5 litres of air freshener for something else. I'm just
going to interject here.
Yeah.
It's slightly off topic. The idea of a mystery box is that you pay way less than you normally would for the products, and you get a surprise. You don't get a box full of like the ultimate amazing best stuff they sell. You get a surprise.
Yeah, you get what you're given.
If you get 12 litres of air freshener, surprise, you stink. That's the idea of a mystery box. You can't. It's like it was the what was the old subscription ones that you used to do?
What, Waxy Box?
Waxy Box and race car box.
They'd get sent out, and people were like, oh, it's crap this month, and it's like, well. The idea is that you pay a subscription because some months you'll get way more value for money.
Yeah.
Depending on who's supplying bits and bobs or who's donating stuff. And other months you might get a load of tat. It's like, do you remember in first lockdown? Sorry, banging my microphone. Remember in first lockdown when the supermarkets did these random assortment boxes because you'd never be sure what you could actually get from the supermarkets for the first few weeks. So they started doing these 35 quid basics boxes.
Yeah.
And people were complaining because they were getting
I don't like
Knoll
cabbage.
bacon instead of smoked bacon. You're like, seriously?
This grey poupon from Waitrose is not my normal brand.
It's the avocado boxes where there are only 2 types of avocado.
I was more impressed by the bargain boxes at Lidl that they were doing. They were like £1.50.
Just
it was
everything
just like
that goes out of date tomorrow.
it was a box of fruit and veg that was out of date.
Mm.
But we got like, I mean, apples are. I don't want to go into being an old moany northerner.
My day, apples were a farthing.
But apples are well expensive now.
Yeah.
And everybody wants pink lady apples for whatever reason.
Because they want them all year round. And
they want them all year round. I always complain. I always complain at my other half buying strawberries at this time of year.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I got a box for £1.50 and it had like 12 pink lady apples. And on my calculations, I was about £14 up.
Well, you sold them on Facebook, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, on Facebook, you're right.
I scalping the apples.
I have to admit, in lockdown 1, I got shamed at Tesco's because I walked in to buy what I normally buy, which is usually 6 cans of beans, 2 cans of the 5 beans, and then
and the 6 rolls of toilet roll that's necessity after that.
No, I get that from Costco in bulk twice a year, and 6 of my favourite tomato soup, and then I got to the counter and that's all I bought. I didn't buy any bog roll, nothing else. I don't need anything else. I'm happy just with my beans and my soup and my fancy beans. And they said only 1 or 2 tins per person. And there's a big queue of people at checkout. And I had to like put everything back into my little basket and totter over and then start restacking shelves.
Oh, you're such a wet lettuce.
I know. And
just
then
get up to the counter and growl at them. That's what I do.
Oh, hell no. No,
but you just have to stack them on the chewing gum shelf.
No, I put them back in the correct place. And actually,
I'm that guy.
I did Casco's a favour because I noticed quite a lot of them weren't properly stacked. So I ended up restacking pretty much a pallet load of beans and tomato soup so that all the labels were straight and centred.
But you got your own name label at the end of the day, so it's a happy story.
But no, it was the guilt. It was the guilt of being looked at, and I was being judged. And so I'm not actually doing anything I wouldn't otherwise
whether you go
do.
shopping or not, Bert.
Well, it's true.
You have that look of hedge creeper, and that's what makes people look at you. My friend Sean has started buying shame bread.
What is shame bread?
So he wants to go to Lidl to buy alcohol,
Right.
But because he feels like it's shameful for not going out for an essential trip,
Oh, I see. He buys a loaf of bread to go with it.
so he's got a freezer full of shame bread. I like
What
that.
you mean? He doesn't just buy the pastries?
No, I've got to do a panini run tomorrow. Actually,
A panini run. God, you've got so upper middle class, James.
Ian doesn't like their paninis. What I do. It's
No, I don't like any
ciabatta.
paninis.
I'm not entirely sure what panini is. That's the
It's the
type of
ones you
bread.
do in the press.
Or in a George
It's
Foreman
it's
when I'm
ciabatta.
cleaning windows grill.
Oh, ciabatta, right.
Yeah.
Say
Yeah,
it
I've heard of
properly. Ciabatta.
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 I always thought it was ciabatta.
Well, you would do. You're from Hampshire.
Well, yeah. But anyway, never bought it.
And you think that living in Swindon would have knocked that out of him by now, but
Look, I feel bad for buying pre-sliced bread sometimes, so shut up.
That's only because you haven't got a maid to cut it for you these days.
All right, Mr.
Right, he
Ciabatta.
walks into that one. Oh.
Anyway,
So yeah, back onto Facebook groups.
Facebook groups. So yeah, we kind of wanted to know where the friendliest groups were and what we think. What are the ingredients for a satisfactory group? Are the entry restrictions? What do you look for in your online detailing community?
silence.
Friction. I look for friction. I want people to argue.
Yeah, we had one who was strange enough just on the PVD side who would left or removed. I can't remember, but he then messaged, "Oh, I still want to stay in the group," and I was like, "Well, that's we moderate the group. It's sometimes hard work. It's that's part
I
of
need
it."
a venue to argue.
Yes, exactly. And he said, "Oh, I just want to start arguments and just try and attack people."
Serious answer.
Yeah,
Answers to questions with real life experience.
good point.
That's what I want to have a Facebook group. The person who answers a question isn't just someone who thinks, "Oh, I'll make up an answer that fits the question."
To be
I've
fair,
actually experienced this. This is what I found. Here's that information. That's useful.
Yeah,
I try my best. I really do. But it's got to the point where, to be fair, both Rich and I do occasionally try and help people out in certain groups.
Yeah.
Usually with a shameless plug, but it's the internet. Who cares?
I like Shameless.
yeah.
I like Shameless. Not
I
the
even
American
like,
one, though.
I like Shameless here, so with Macy, whatever his face
I
is.
used to work near where they filmed the English version.
Yes, you've mentioned that.
The problem is with these Facebook groups is you've always got, what's the name of that? Is it the Kruger curve? The
Dunning-Kruger.
Dunning-Kruger.
No, Diane-Kruger.
Wasn't that the baddie in a Die
Diane
Hard?
Kruger.
No,
Yeah,
Diane-Kruger's the one in National Treasure, isn't she?
Oh, I don't know. I shouldn't have made a literary reference. I'm not qualified.
Anyway, the diagram that shows the valley of despair and the peak of intelligence. all that
Competence
business.
versus knowledge.
The problem is these Facebook groups are full of detailers that assume that they are full of it, full of knowledge, experts. The sad reality is
A lot of influencers or influencing potential.
influencers. The sad reality is a lot of these guys are a little off. They're not quite at the level they think they're at, and that's partly the industry's fault because we need to kind of build ourselves up to sell ourselves. And
Smoke is blown.
the problem you've got is that people will come on and ask a simple question, looking for simple advice, and you'll either get one of two things: you'll get a long-winded, overly elaborate answer.
Which doesn't answer the question.
Which doesn't answer the question, but it will give you a recommendation of 5 products that they've done a YouTube video about and then a link to the YouTube video. You'll get the guy that will deliberately give a wrong and dangerous answer because he feels that you're an idiot,
Yes, for his own ego.
possibly because he doesn't even know the answer. And then you'll get the people that will just recommend the products that everybody else recommends. You'll get people that recommend the same products all the time because certain groups are affiliated with certain brands and certain anyway.
One guy's always going to put up that gif of Michael Jackson eating popcorn.
Yes.
Usually me, to be fair. What's the best shampoo? Oh, this will be good. This will be a good one.
Well, that is it. And you end up with people, if you make a post, not that I ever do on those now, but if you make a post, you end up with two complete strangers having an argument with each other, and it turns into absolute mayhem. And this is the thing, is I think a lot of the...
Oh, I have a habit of sub-arguing.
Yes.
I sub-argue.
And then randomly somebody skips a thing and it goes to the wrong thread. It's just... it's unpleasant sometimes. And the problem is, and Ian, for example, is never commenting on these groups. Sometimes you're sort of viewing from a distance, but probably for a similar reason that I am, is that
I don't care.
Okay, well, different reason then, but you feel that actually you're just going to end up getting bitten, or unpleasant folk are going to have a go at you, and you're just sitting there thinking, well, what's the point? It's a thankless task.
No, if somebody asks me privately for an answer, then I'll give them an answer. But
yes, but that off is not really.
Foxtrot Oscar.
All you need to do is text me with my mobile number, which nobody knows.
Actually, it is 07.
Yeah, he thinks he's got my mobile number.
I still have 3 numbers on my phone for you, and it's confusing me because my Samsung doesn't tell me which. I have to look at call records.
Call you from Messenger, don't I? So you don't know.
No, you've called me from all those numbers before, but I have to go through my phone records to work out which one still is relevant and which one is your secret phone and which one you pick up declaring yourself.
Even I don't know my home phone number.
No, you've got a home phone?
Yeah.
Goodness me.
I do.
I don't answer it either. It rings all the time. It's generally French family.
Do you do
They're in the basement. They use the intercom.
Do you do what you do on the business phone here? Pick up and go, don't recognise that. It could be a customer, a new customer. No.
I'd have to talk.
Hello, where can I direct your call? What's actually on screen to you? No.
Shut the doors, turn the lights off, lock the doors.
Yes.
Pretend we're not here,
and then complain there aren't enough customers.
It's I think all Facebook groups can be pretty savage. It doesn't.
Yeah,
it's
they all
not
have the capacity to
specifically.
be. Yeah.
The problem is you're allowing the facility of morons collecting in one place, and I'll class myself as one of those morons, especially after my little political outburst last night.
Jeez, yeah.
But it doesn't matter what it is. If you go in a gardening group, there's going to be somebody that kicks off, or if you go in a pet owners group.
Blooming heck. The
oh, God.
Challenges. My partner works in dog walking and pet food and stuff like that. And I tell you what, there is a trade association for dog walkers and stuff, but the issues that they have and the squabbles that they have.
Is that what ukdogging.com is?
No, that's totally different. And I'll tell you a story, but not on a podcast, about how I know it's totally different. But the squabbles and the topics of conversation, even like, will I work, won't I work during COVID, or this is the right lead to use. No, that's not the right lead. It's cruel. It kills chihuahuas or something.
What kind of wax should I use on a black dog?
Yeah.
What's the best shampoo? Again,
I defecate you not that this is really a thing, is that the product choice and decisions and raw feeding in dogs, basically, you either feed them kibble, cereal and stuff.
I'd always eat dogs raw.
Yeah, well, ditto, yeah.
I prefer mine steamed. Steaming.
I eat lines raw.
Or you feed them literally raw meat that's been frozen. And my partner is a diehard vegetarian, so
is this a shameless plug?
No, it's not. I'm not using any brand names or anything like that.
I feel like we're heading to a shameless plug for your raw food business.
If you'd let me finish, I get to my point sooner.
Really?
Yes.
Do you promise?
My point being is that they still have... My point being is that squabbles in lots of different trades, completely unrelated to detailing, are so utterly similar when you've got small one-man band or small businesses.
A lot of the time when it's people that are solo in their business that don't have anybody else to talk to, so they feel the need for interaction.
It could be that. It could be that. But the squabbles, I just sit there and think, oh, I had this back in 2012. I know how to deal with it. What you do is just... and it is just bizarre. And so that's my point, is that Facebook groups, regardless of industry, are full of Sandras and Dereks or whatever.
My mum's called Sandra. How very dare you?
Probably not the same Sandra.
Karen is the
Karen's the name of my accountant. I don't like that either. So can we find another name? Debbie. Has anyone got any particular...
My cousin's called
Debbie's
Debbie.
all right.
Okay, which Debbie though?
What do you mean, which Debbie?
Well, one of them did Dallas, didn't she?
She did. Well, quite.
So I've heard.
One of them's on the outskirts of Birmingham. But yes, so that's my point. Is it's not just detailing, and everybody says, "Oh, I'm sick of this industry and stuff." Oh, detailing industry, bitch. It's not any different from any other, frankly.
No.
There are so many out there, and they're nastier. On the ones we're very male dominated. On the female dominated ones, they're just as scary.
Don't go down that route.
No, I get.
But if you do want raw dog food or pet treats, hit Shemvalar Pantry up. .com. affiliate code BERT10.
I'm the poor sod who has to
Just
pack
don't
everything.
ask where the meat comes from.
No.
There's a reason why I drive big German cars.
Oh, yeah.
So we're going to round up now with a look at issue 13 and a bit of fun and games because we are in the planning stages. At present, it is not entirely a blank canvas, but we are...
Just my mind.
Just your mind. But we've already got quite a few ideas down, which is cool. And normally what we do is write down a set of ideas, panic that there aren't enough of them, come up with other ideas or other things sort of appear, write about them, and then suddenly realise that we haven't got enough pages and have to extend the magazine by another 4 pages every time, which is why we had 136 pages last time, 132 the last time before that.
Issue 20 is going to be a hardback at 250 with chapters. Leather bound.
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
Yes, well, we're 12 through. I've randomly had to do a graphic this morning of all the front covers, and I thought, 12's actually quite a nice number because it fits on an A4 page really nicely. So what we're really looking for is a bit of feedback from you people, lovely people. And because we've done guides, for example, for a lot of detailing stuff, and there are some gaps we've done, but there's a lot of grand scale guides that we've done that frankly we could cut up and do much more detailed, interesting, kind of investigative, myth busting stuff with. But if there's any particular area that any of you lovely lot would like to see us sort of investigate and expand upon, do wave your hand in the air, drop us an email, message us on the FaceB, on the Insta-G, and
well, that was a stretch.
Yeah, I was trying to be a hipster, but
that was a stretch, that one.
Yeah.
SDG.
You use your telebox internet thingamajiggles and communicate with us, and we will see what we can do. Yeah, we can't just Yahoo us if you don't know who we are.
Check out my Netscape page.
Yes. Oh, I remember Netscape. Anyway, just get in touch, and we can't promise that we will, but if it's a cool idea and we think that we can actually add value to it, we will do our best.
Might even do a Facebook post just to try and get a bit of interaction. So
yeah,
we've got some suggestions from our followers and that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, there are only 4 people who listen to us here, so
yeah, 3 of us.
Exactly. And the poor sod, whoever it is, has to check we don't swear. Yeah.
Well, it's definitely not any of us because I keep forgetting to check the profanities box when we upload it.
Yes.
Especially on the last one when Ian had a few little F's and Jeffs on that.
See, I'm trying to make it easy. If I swear in every single podcast, then you just have to check that as default.
Yeah, but then they don't. It's an unnecessary thing. We can get... Anyway,
it's BBC Brain is going insane.
Sod you.
Poo face. I know you are, but what am
I? And yeah, because also the jingles we get jumped on by copyright, even though we've got licenses, so we need to jump on that. But that's by the by. Point being is that magazine 13 coming out in July. If you've got ideas or stuff, yeah. Well, yeah.
July, August, September.
We want to know if there's stuff that you want to cover. And equally, if you are a manufacturer or a company of some description and have an interesting editorial idea, not just advertorial, do get in touch because, again, we love working with things, and with COVID and stuff. We
don't like working with COVID.
We don't like working with COVID. No, it's a bit troublesome, but hoping that stuff will open up sufficiently so we can go on a little mini tour before 13.
Yeah, maybe hit some car shows. I've forgotten what they're like.
Yeah,
I guarantee after the first one, I won't want to go to any more. But
yeah, well, we've got an ever-expanding list of factories who either we want to visit or they've asked us to visit or something like that, and we've just been restricted.
I want to go to Kratzel.
Yes, that is one on the list.
And Henry.
I want to go and see Pneumatic. Henry. Yeah.
I might fall in love if I go to Henry.
Yeah, if you go to Henry, you're going to come back with a boot full of eyes looking up at you.
Well, they don't put the eyes on. At the factory. No, they put them in the box.
Oh, okay.
So they'll be nameless.
I'm about to say, if you work in a fancy pants hotel or something.
Do they do like French export versions called Henri?
They do a Henrietta, don't they?
But do they have like do they send them out to Poland with local names?
Heinrich. That's German, isn't it? Really, isn't it?
Yeah, my Polish would be longer.
Pavel.
They probably have to have a bigger Hoover.
Pavel. Wojciech.
Yeah,
are those the 2 Polish names?
The vacuum.
Can I just apologise to any Polish listeners?
That works.
No, we don't apologise. They're Polish names. We're not being discriminative.
Okay, well,
stereotyping though.
So in summary, if you would like us to find out if they call pneumatic hoovers by different names in different countries,
I really want to know that. Now I'm going to phone them and ask them anyway. Don't suggest that. I'm doing it.
Copyright, my idea. You can't use it.
But we've got places in Germany. We've got places in. I mean, speaking of Poland, the Soft 99 in Poland would be fun to go and see. Rupes in Italy, we really want to see. Can't you?
Well, not after you've insulted an entire nation.
Not well, that and the fact that my last trip I drank far too much vodka
Okay.
and got really ill, so I don't want to go back.
Well, that's fine. You can hold the fort here.
No.
We'll go to Poland.
Hey, we could visit FlexiPads. Did you know
Yeah.
FlexiPads are based in Bristol?
I didn't. Oh, but I did, because we talk about it all the time. But FlexiPad's based in Bristol. Remember that. So,
But you can't see him because we're going first.
yes. What?
Listeners, they're not allowed to go and see him.
Oh, no.
We go first.
We try and get.
Yeah, we've got loads of places we can go. I would like to go back to Germany.
Yes. Well, you always want to go to Germany. You wanted to emigrate to Germany.
I did. I do. I will. Hey, we could take the Skoda.
Not anymore, you won't.
We could take the Skoda and rip a lap.
Yeah. Well, that'd probably be quicker than Fritz.
Yeah, maybe.
Power to weight.
Maybe.
But yeah, well, once I get uncrashable on the road, I'll be.
Could take the MG and truly embarrass British engineering.
Yes.
What's the name of that
We did
oil
Brexit
tanker?
for your good.
What was the name of that oil tanker that went down?
Well, the Exxon Valdez.
Exxon Valdez. You could drive the Exxon Valdez over.
Probably better steering, to be fair.
We'll tow the Audi so that you can refill it when you get there.
No, you could refill it at Piper Alpha. That was an insurance joke. So
That was a joke.
I find I have to tell people
Scratch
more
and sniff.
Scratch it. But so we talked about guides, car care adventures, obviously something we're working hard on. New products. Again, if there are new products that are inspiring you, message us, because we do a hunt. We ask manufacturers and stuff, but there's still ones that escape the radar. So get in touch. And we even have a form on our website that you can fill in to submit a new product if you are a new product manufacturer.
If he's a quick detailer, though, it better be special.
Yeah.
Can we have just a general appeal to manufacturers just to try, if you're going to bring out a new product, just make something, just a tiny little bit of it unique.
And not the colour or the smell.
Ugh.
Or the taste.
Or
Yes.
the label.
Or it needs to. We always try the way that
There
we
are
do
so
it with
many little
products.
variations that chemists can put into these concoctions, and it just
Yes.
seems like nobody bothers.
Yeah, the days of like Imolube and
I know that yes. If you're going to start a little white label brand, you'll go to the big mixing houses, and they'll have an off-the-shelf jobby that you can change to be a colour that suits your brand, and you can release that. And yes, you'll probably make a few bucks, but just adding another, little bit of thought into it to make it something unique, something that actually does what you personally want to do to it, will endear you to your potential customers.
Or make it multi-use. The amount of multi-use products out there are so far and few between.
Yeah.
Make it multi-use.
And it's true.
The ones that are so good, because it reduces the amount. I know it's counterintuitive for a brand, but it makes it one less product to carry on the van if you've got one that does two.
We'll do a deal. If it's a unique product, we'll get Bert or James to write the description for it. If it's not, then I'll do it, and I'm a sarcastic
don't do
bastard.
that.
Oh, look, they've done a foam that's snowy.
Oh, well, another quick detailer.
I'll answer this because
I
we do get
fell
asked.
off my chair.
We do get asked sometimes, what decisions and stuff. And the answer is that if you have an interesting, different product, we almost certainly will feature it, regardless of advertising or any jazz like that. We're editorial number one.
Even if it's ridiculously niche.
Yes.
We love that.
Yeah.
Or make it the most expensive one out there.
Yeah.
Within reason.
no.
But
that's
that
what-
upsets Ian's typesetting because he has to put more zeros in and the circles don't fit
We
it
do that
anymore.
anyway.
Yes.
That's fine. I think that's your type input in the first place that sends that up the wall.
We do that anyway with the pricing. We've got a couple of
Yeah. A couple of
slip-ups. Hey, we can't do it all.
No,
Well, we can, but
we're a little team.
we don't.
So yeah, shout about products, and also we're talking about liquid products, about hardware as well. Any interesting things? We love doing hardware twin tests and stuff like that. There are a couple that we've shortlisted, but we've got, for example, Sanders was one, but the ones they're going against look terribly similar, so we're going to be quite careful. But yeah,
If
hardware.
any ideas on showdowns? If you've got two products that you want to see.
If you're an international manufacturer and you're looking to break into the UK, European markets, send us your products over. We had this with Osram.
Yeah.
Fantastic products. They sent us over some and we featured them, and I hope that they'll be on UK shelves pretty soon because they are awesome.
Yeah,
Should probably
ditto
send
with
them a magazine
Polytop.
first.
But for the sake of posting stuff over to the UK, I know it's not the easiest at the moment because we've got the wall and everything.
Yeah. Lot of
Or if you're
paperwork.
trying to hit the Japanese market,
Yes.
we've got some Japanese magazine. Well, we've got some magazines in Japan now. Big in Japan.
Yeah, 450 copies in one
song.
batch,
It's a good song.
which was cool. And in terms of other things, also well-being, we do quite a lot on well-being. But if there are particular kind of health, mental health, physical health assets that you'd like us to talk about and research, we've got pretty good contacts, and we could be able to find out stuff. So if there's a topic you feel needs shouting about, let us know. And again, Trader Talk section is all about the industry as a whole. And if there's some stuff that you'd like us to talk about there, let us know.
Yep. If you want to know how something works, I'll do my best to find out the ins and outs of it. Usually pull it apart and
then find out that
how
the orthodox is completely wrong.
Which is why you got banned from veterinary school.
That's true. That's true. Hey, it wasn't the taking apart that was the issue.
Yeah. It was sticking it back together.
Or not.
Yeah.
That was the problem.
5-legged cat. Never worked.
What's black, white and goes pop?
Penguin in a microwave?
I was going to say a black and white cat in a microwave, but yeah, sure.
So anyway, that's what we're doing. As I say, we've got some stuff lined up, and we will be getting in contact with manufacturers and stuff over the coming weeks to see if they have any interesting things that we want to follow.
Might even prep an old 5 Series for a concours event. That'd be fun.
That's So we're talking also the showcase car. So you remember we did Ian's A5 over the summer, and then we did the lovely Renault 5 Super Sonk, which will be up for sale soon, just by the way. And so we might well be doing James's E34 518-520i thing. He's looking at me with
numbers
daggers
now, isn't it?
Yeah,
504. You sound like Pitbull. Your 503s and your 202s.
It's a new number for the ambulance service.
If we'll see how time pans out and how the progression pans out. But if we could prep
if we could do it before the week before the magazine goes to print, that would be fantastic.
You need a paint shop, don't you, James? If that's one thing we haven't covered much is automotive painting process. So if you're a paint shop who want Beamer,
that's a fair point actually. If there's any people out there that might know of a paint shop that want a free plug-in to be involved with the E34 article, then give me a shout because need some paint work doing. But if we might
and just 25 grand our way.
Yeah,
25 grand our way,
and a portion of shares of future sales as well.
Of E34 paint jobs.
For those that don't know the story, does anyone want to explain that reference
No.
Where have you been if it isn't? And the thing is, it involves people who I've kind of indirectly connected with, as in I've had cars worked at Litchfield a couple of times. Chris Harris is one of our PVD members, looks after his cars, and my accountant is shared with his accountant.
I thought you said Chris Harris was one of the PVD members or something.
No,
really?
no. And he recently did an interview with Ted, who's a friend of mine too. So it's weird, huh?
Clang.
I know.
But yeah, if we could, it'd be quite cool if the timing worked out. If we could prep the 5 Series for the BMW Concours d'Elegance event,
which you're very excited. But you've never mentioned that. Are you now fully paid up?
Get it judged, more the point.
When is it?
Well, hang on. You're wanting to be one of the judges. That's not going to work, is it? You either have your car in there.
If it's repainted, is that going to go against it with the BMW Concours? Or
what about the patina?
They've rejigged the way that it's judged now to make it more.
It's a car show concourse rather than a.
Yeah, it's not a full Concours d'Elegance. They still have the Concours d'Elegance section, but they've now got the Pride of Ownership section, which is for people who have cars that they've worked on. They do it all themselves and all that business. So,
but you're looking for a third party to paint it. Yeah.
Well, cars need paint. I mean, it's 26 years old.
Is that all?
26 years old. 27, 94, Emerald.
Okay. How old's your other half?
Yep.
About the same. Yeah, hands up who forgot Valentine's Day this year?
That doesn't work on radio.
No,
this isn't radio.
No, it's funny how you got the black eye.
My beloved sweetheart spent the weekend in the arms of another man.
Oh, okay.
I was going to do it another way. Everybody who forgot Valentine's Day, put your penis on the desk.
He's
sorry.
So funny.
But
reaching. Yeah. No, I got my other half a Nest camera thing, so she can look at her dogs in bed.
Oh, it's not so she can.
It's not that she can link it to your tracking app that you have.
Yeah, we have tracking apps mutually by agreement. Just means I don't have to answer the text.
You were told?
Yes, so I don't get the text saying, "Where are you?" It's like, just look at the map. You know exactly where I am.
Is he blinking SOS or is it just me?
Fine.
What's that he's trying to write on a piece of paper?
Help.
Why do you want people to know where you are? That's the worst thing on earth.
I've got nothing to hide, and it saves me having to get back to
Not yet,
messages.
you don't.
I'm unlikely to change. I've spent 35, well, not 35 years, but I've spent quite a long time. I haven't got the imagination to misbehave. I've got no interest in
It's not about misbehaving, it's about running away, but
I got go bags at 3 different locations.
oh dear.
Yeah.
I just need a vehicle that works to get you away, really.
I've got plenty of vehicles that work, thank you very much.
Are they in these drop locations as well?
Yes, it's really annoying, and they're really badly served by the rail network.
What he's got is he's got like Call of Duty Warzone supply boxes, and each one's got like a brand new Japanese car that actually works inside it, so that he can get at least 200 miles away.
And they've all got the Electra in there, which nobody actually likes.
Well, a friend of mine, in fact, has just bought an Audi A2, really nice FSI. Low mileage, 24,000 miles.
Which one's the A2?
The A2 is it's the aluminium one, the original kind of egg
the old bubbly one.
Yeah.
With the water filler behind.
With a little flap down thing at the front of the radiator. He paid 800 quid for it. And
what engine?
That's the one we saw the space frame for in Germany, wasn't it?
1.6 FSI, which is the one you want. And
so it's the Beetle engine.
Maybe it's
about
I'm
10
sure
to the gallon.
No, he gets really good, and it's lightweight as well.
The 1.4 TDI is the one you want.
Well, that's the one I want, and I've started looking.
Isn't the Beetle 1.8?
They're quite a bit of money for.
Isn't the Beetle 1.8?
No,
same as the Golf, isn't it?
No, so they did. You get a 1.6 FSI, 2 litre FSI, 1.8 turbo.
Okay.
We had a 2 litre.
Well, you can get the V5 as well, the old Beetle as well.
Yeah.
I
like the Beetles.
Point being is, I was looking for something small and efficient to get just up to because at the here at the unit it's about 15 miles away.
For that.
Well, he's got a motorbike, which I'm not allowed to get a motorbike, and I'm not sure I want to get a motorbike.
I'm not allowed either, but I'm going to.
Yeah. Well, you're more rebellious than me. I was looking at a small, super efficient
told you
cars.
Can't have a motorbike?
Well, partly my inner monologue. Partly the fact I don't have a motorbike license.
Jesus.
I don't have a motorbike license, and you know what the roads are like. They're bloody lethal in a car, let alone on a little scooter.
I have a motorbike license and have motorbikes.
Yeah, but you don't now, do you?
No, because I've got too many flipping cars. I will be getting one, especially if Ian gets Chicken Chaser. It'll be like Road Rash.
Well, I was thinking of a little. I just wanted something small, fun, efficient. Dirt cheap. So I was thinking about a little A2 1.4 TDI.
I thought it was back on Tinder.
And then I thought, well, it has to be a Subaru, so it's a Subaru Justy. But all the really fun, funky Justies from like the 80s and 90s have rusted away to nothing. So you're left with a Daihatsu that's been rebadged, which I won't do.
Sorry? I mean,
yeah,
a Daihatsu Charade GTTI is probably one of the coolest Kai cars going.
Oh no, don't get me wrong. I love the little 3-cylinder GTI one. I'm talking about the Subaru Justy / Daihatsu Charade was one of the same car in like the early to mid noughties.
Are you sure you're not getting confused with the Kia Picanto that was the same as the Justy as well, wasn't it?
No, Kia Picanto wasn't. There was a Suzuki Swift built in Hungary, which was the same as the previous generation Justy. But the most recent one, where they did the twin cam, the 1 litre twin cam Justy, is a Daihatsu.
Why don't you go electric and get a Twizy?
Yeah,
I'd love to see you driving a Twizy.
I'd be well up for a Twizy. You know, if somebody offered me a Twizy where the batteries weren't knackered and it didn't cost a fortune, I'd be well into it.
It doesn't matter if the batteries are knackered. You have to rent them off Renault anyway.
Yeah, yes, that's an interesting point. And if they get to 80%, they fix them for you or something.
Well, I'm going to get a BMW i3 as soon as I can afford one.
Well, they don't make them anymore, do they?
What?
They stopped making the i3.
I thought they still did the i3S while they were running them out.
I thought they literally just they announced the other day that they're not making them.
Yeah, but they haven't all evaporated. Let's face it, we're all going to be buying.
I did actually look, and they're down to about 10 grand now for an i3. Yeah,
Blimey, I thought they were down to I saw them at 15.
Well, there's all the other option is
they're fairly high mileage, but decent spec. But they're still only like 106 mile range.
Yeah, but I live about 3 miles away from here.
Yeah, but
you should walk it, frankly.
That's fine for doing stuff around here, but if I want to go down and visit my folks down in Essex, that's 144 miles. So that means I've got to stop at South Mims. And I hate South Mims.
What you could do is you could stop at Reading for a Burger King, be horrendously disappointed, 50-minute charge.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
They're like 2.2 hours.
No, not for the...
Yeah, on the fast charge. I looked at the spec and it was 2.2 hours, so 5.5 home charging.
If you, Top Gear have done a midterm test on one, I'll send you the link later. He was saying it was 50 minutes and he got the lower charge rate one and it was actually better because the way it charges.
Yeah, better for the battery at least.
But yeah, no, I'd like an i3. I think they're really cool. I want the one that's got the IKEA interior though. It's called Loft.
Yes.
Loft interior, which is beige tweed, pine wood dash grey.
Well, this is where the Honda E comes in because that's
ridiculously expensive.
Exactly that. Yeah,
it looks awesome.
No, I agree. The problem is there a second hand? I mean, Tweezy. How much are Tweezy Twizzies? I don't know.
Well, about 7 or 8 grand probably.
Still a
They're-
sort of.
they're
I mean,
fairly cheap,
that's 7
but
or
that's
8
a
good
one-person
Subarus.
thing.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
could get a Prius and live that eternal life that you were always destined for and be an Uber driver.
I genuinely would, if there was some way that I could be an Uber driver in my V8, I would love to be. But
You can do
not
it
in
whatever you
Cirencester.
want.
Yeah, but not efficiently. I'd talk to
But
an
no
Uber
one will
driver.
choose it.
Yeah, I spend a long time talking to Uber drivers. Every time I'm in a taxi or an Uber, I talk to them at length, and the money that they get simply wouldn't pay the fuel on a decent V8 driven enthusiastically.
Well, I got picked up from Luxembourg Airport by an Uber, and it was a manual KN V8 petrol.
That was, yeah, I
and it
remember
cost me
saying that.
20 quid to go a mile and a half.
But no,
Worth
I
it.
did it.
Worth it.
Yeah, well, I used to run as
Just be chipping towards when he has to replace the headlight bulbs.
All the clutch. Oh.
used to run a lifting service in Bristol back when I was a student, and I had a 2-litre HDI
You mean
Peugeot.
an illegal taxi service?
I mean, a lifting service
An
for
illegal
moving
taxi
people
service.
from A to B in a 306 with a big sound system, and they could bring their little iPods, which were the thing at the time, and play their god-awful drum and bass music at volume.
Did you have a disco ball in the back seat?
I had red lighting on the inside, and I'd take their
yeah.
coats when they go to the club, and on the basis I get the return fare, the lifting fee.
I actually quite
and
like to go on one of those Japanese karaoke taxis.
I wouldn't. I'd be high risk.
My mate Dan, he got in a black cab in Manchester recently, and
Can't
he sent
call
me a
him that
video.
anymore.
He was very drunk, but he sent me a video of that was a disco taxi because he was
Oh, cool.
singing Wonderwall. Well, singing. He was
Uttering.
screaming Wonderwall in the back of a taxi.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I sometimes crave for the simpler life.
I wonder how much the Vauxhall Volts are now, or Ampere, or whatever they're called.
Oh, I love the Ampera too. Yeah, Chevy Volt or Vauxhall Ampera, same car. Absolutely adore those. I thought they were really nicely thought out, and that's got a range extender on it.
I'd want full electric though. Hybrid's a cop out.
I say, I just get the feeling that a Vauxhall Volt, they're going to tell you it's a sort of fully electric car, and they've just put loads of soundproofing around a diesel engine.
Recirculating the exhaust back into the air filter.
Well, it's the difference because you could have a FEV like an Outlander, but that's just a normal engine with lots of really heavy, weighty stuff extra.
They're
for about
really, really bad cars.
Oh yeah, they're great for tax, and that's it. But as opposed to an Ampera with a range extender, which is an electric car that happens to have a little petrol generator on it, like the i3 with a range extender, same principle. That I would be well down to. My God, we're talking about electric cars like grown-ups. I've just realised this. I'll be using a knife and fork tonight rather than just head-butting my soup and my beans. It gets messy after a bit. So I don't know how we got into electric cars, but if anybody can think of a cheap electric car with a little bit of storage space, because at Tweezy the problem is storage space. I do have to carry camera kit around and
Just
stuff
get
like that.
Hyundai Ion on lease. They're like
Ioniq.
Yeah,
I mean,
like
you can get
100
Leafs
quid
for
a
like
month.
£6,000.
Oh God,
yeah, but really,
that'd be nearly as bad as buying a Nissan Joke.
yeah. I mean, that's the problem with the Prius. Is it how much MPG do you actually get out of an old school Prius?
Well, if
'Cause
you're
it's-
the Uber driver in Sandbach,
Yes.
the batteries stopped working 10 years ago and it does 12 to the gallon.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
you
he
have to
was
carry a
doing.
battery around.
Yeah.
Oh God, he was horrendous.
They're terrible. And I drove on a hire car actually on holiday. It was a Toyota Auris Estate hybrid thingamajiggles. And it had a CVT box, which I dislike. But apart from that, it wasn't totally terrible. But the MPG I got at the end of the day was less than 40. And I'm like, I'm here being blooming Greenpeace.com, saving the whales and the polar bears and the penguins, and you're still doing 38 miles per gallon.
Just buy a quad bike and a trailer.
I'd be well up for that. Yeah. I want a Honda Big Red or a Kawasaki
Why don't you just
4x4.
electro-mod a D2?
That would be awesome. There's a company in Swindon that does that as well.
There's a
Problem
company
is
in
it
South
costs
Certainly that does electro mods.
Yeah, cost a freaking
Really?
fortune.
Yeah.
How much? How much are you talking?
Well, actually, that's the thing.
15
When you go on,
grand to put in a basic Tesla system with
well,
a one
you
motor.
go on their website, they obviously have quite a few people just emailing and how much to electrify my Triumph TR7.
Hey, but that's I
So
love.
they
I
just
love
say
that
just
idea.
before you even email us, just be aware that it's going to be at least 25 grand.
Yeah, exactly. But that's I love the idea. I mean, hell, in terms of imagine Fritz with a proper Tesla setup. That would be,
I reckon my E34 would suit an electric setup.
you need. I think they suit bigger cars inherently, rather than you can have a Super Mini with a retrofit thing because it would weigh more than the Super Mini.
That's the Mini
But
E.
Well, my
That's apparently competitive.
Sister's got an Golf E Golf.
Yeah,
E-Golf.
GTE.
No,
Oh, okay.
it's not a hybrid. It's
Okay.
a full E Golf.
Oh, hang on. Isn't that what we saw in Germany at the show?
Might be.
The ID3.
No. This is
No.
a normal Golf, but it's completely electric.
Oh,
It's brilliant.
Isn't that just what
Really
they say
nice
up north
car.
when they see the price of it?
E-Golf. Yeah, they've got an
The new
E-Golf. and
Bygum.
they're Great, awesome cars. But yeah, I think we're going to end up with an electric car of some sort.
I'm sure we all will at some point. I mean,
I think it's going to be my next big purchase after my next car is going to have to be an electric.
Yeah.
But it'll be hopefully a slightly higher performance, say, than what's available.
Yeah.
For
Well, I wonder what a second-hand I-Pace Jag will be like in 3 years' time.
broken.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, possibly.
They'll probably take you to court and say you're not allowed to display it on your driveway.
Oh, well, instantly,
There's a lot more to that story.
Yeah, I've been messaged about that actually because I shared about it, and it turns out that the guy was apparently going to do a whole series.
He was going to try and make another 10 of them, and that's where they said no.
Yeah.
So you can make it for yourself, but you can't start a car company without designs.
Yes, but which
is ironic because I know a company that makes Aston DB3 replicas using BMW engines. I'm wondering how much foot longer they're going to get away with it.
Well, yeah, but even that, I think that I'd still take everything with a pinch of salt, because if I was a big multinational, I would happily employ a fake news thing to start spreading around, because there are certain things like crushing that prototype car.
Can't use fake news anymore.
No?
Trump's gone.
Trump's gone. Okay. Well,
fake news.
Bogus news.
I know more than anybody about news.
I'm the best in news. It's fake news, but that's real news. That's real, but fake.
Sound more like Dewey out of... what's the... Oh, it's not... What is it?
Give us a clue.
The piss take of Scream.
Oh,
Scary movie.
Scary movie.
Oh.
I told you not to disturb me while I was hoovering my room.
Cool.
And that's why I only buy Henrys. You got to add some personality into the
It's
job.
the smiley face.
It is.
Well, we've gone on a bunch to talk about electric cars out the blue, but I think it's probably time we wrap it up. And we will no doubt be doing another podcast soon. It's goodbye from me. It's goodbye from James.
It is.
It's goodbye from Ian.
Probably. For now.